Good day and welcome to today's webinar, workshop on mobile performance testing in a series. And this is the first one. This will be a continuing series on performance testing, and they'll all be online workshops like the one you have today. It is being brought to you by Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. I am hosting today's webinar. My name is Chris Trimper. I am the Western New York Chapter Lead. I also happen to be a lead on the Performance Engineering SIG and am a manager of test automation and performance testing individuals. Today's speakers, first we have Sylvia from Hewlett-Packard. She has over 20 years of experience in the IT organization, combining product marketing and product management. She's currently working as the Worldwide Senior Product Marketing Manager for HPE Enterprise's performance testing solutions, including Performance Center and LoadRunner. We also have Gaspari joining us from Milan, where he joined HPE in 2008. He's working as a professional service support on LoadRunner, Performance Center, Mobile Center, SiteScope, Diagnostics, and ALM, and he plays various customer-facing roles as a team leader, product specialist, pre-sales, technical product management, and a mouthful of other things. He's pretty much apparently the Batman for performance engineering. Brief note on housekeeping. This is a live session. It is available to all Vivint members afterwards. If there are any questions, there's a question pane in the panel. We'll show you what that looks like in a moment for any questions to be asked. And in addition, we have a new that you're going to see on the side for handouts. Today we've loaded 5 handouts in there that'll help accompany this webinar. And we also have a couple more that'll be joining the recording. So after this webinar, everyone that registers will be getting an email noting of the recording, where you can find the recording, the slides, as well as some really great handouts. One note, next slide please. So let's kick this off. We want to start off with a quick poll to kind of set the page for everyone here. And this is our only poll today. And we'd like to know, are you currently doing mobile performance testing? Where options are, just select one of the following, that we are doing mobile performance testing in your organization. You may want to, but you have not started. You haven't necessarily planned for it, or maybe you just don't have a mobile app or mobile web page to work with at the moment. Let's give everybody a moment to fill this out. All right, it looks like the majority of folks are voting. Give them a couple more seconds. I think we're pretty full up if we want to close the poll, and let's look at what our results are. All right, so a little over 30% of you have said that you are currently doing mobile performance testing. Nearly half have said that you haven't begun, but you'd like to. 9% have said that they haven't necessarily planned for anything yet, and there are 10% of you that may not necessarily have anything that requires mobile performance testing at this moment. So I'd like to hand it over to Sylvia as she'll begin our session. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Chris. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me.
Yep, you sound great, Sylvia.
Absolutely. So that's good. Great introduction, Chris, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys here today. This topic is a very hot topic. It's interesting because we have been talking about mobile for a while, and we learned, actually, according to the World quality report that many people now is embarking now in the mobile testing, but not in the mobile performance testing. And we thought that is going to be good to bring to you today very good information and about like a series of mobile performance testing to help you to start your journey. Especially like we saw now that there is 50% of the room here that haven't started and would like to, and the third other percent that is already doing. And we want hear from you guys. Use the question area or chat area to discuss about your challenges and also questions for us. We're going to be happy to answer questions. But what you're going to see today, so I'm just going to do a quick introduction about the digital transformation that companies are going through, right? And then why mobile performance testing is a challenge. It is a challenge because actually, you know, involves a lot more than we think, and you're going to cover those areas and have you prepare to make sure that when you're doing performance tests, you're doing the correct way. Also, Gaspar is our guru about performance testing. I'm so glad that we have him in our team now. He's the new product manager for product marketing manager for LoadRunner and Performance Center, and also other solutions on performance area. So he has a very good knowledge, and he's going to share. He taught tons of people already in this topic, and he's going to be not just presenting today, but also in the deep dive session on Discover about mobile performance and also testing explained. We are going to go a little bit on the HPE LoadRunner today, Mobile Center. The next webinars, we're going to also cover other solutions and also a more deep dive in the mobile testing. And also understand a little bit of network conditions today for the mobile apps. But there is a lot more to see, and I hope to see also you in the other webinars. So moving ahead, because we have a full schedule with so many good contents, and also we're going to be doing a demo as well about how to do it. So we're going to leave this webinar like with a very good idea on how to do it. So we are like in the middle of the digital transformation. It's funny because I tell sometimes in my presentations that here at home, like my fiance, he loves like to download music in his cell phone, right? He still like to have the ownership of music in his cell phone. And then his kids likes to basically sign up for music, like Spotify, Pandora, right? And I like both. So here at home, like we have an example of 3 types of personas and users, right? And then sometimes you have mobile apps, and how do you fit the mobile apps to each one of these personas, each one of these users that you have? And how do you provide the best user experience? We are in the midst of digital transformation, everyone going mobile. I'm sure that you're listening to this presentation and maybe even looking at your mobile. And it's interesting because if you want to even put it here in the questionnaire, I would like to even hear what is the most awkward place that you have used your cell phone. I would like to hear about that. That's funny, right? We have good stories. But, you know, we need to think about, like, whenever you are traveling, whenever you are in another state, another country, how is the performance about that application in the different places that you are? So I know we're going to talk a little bit about that. And why performance test is important. You know, it's interesting because we had done a survey not too long ago, right, with dimensional research. And then we ask like a question for your company, which of the following define the user experience, right? And then the most interesting answer here for customers is that application performance is the #1 that represents the user experience. So when you talk about the whole customer experience, right, the majority of the definition about user experience is related to performance. And then after we have basically the ease of use functionality. So performance is everything. So when you click enter, when you click the button to execute a transaction, your expectations is like it should come back faster, more than even seeing the error message, right? Even if sometimes you get an error message that might take long, it's again performance. It's super important. And then we also had additional surveys that 49% of people answered that they would delete an application, or even they would go away from an application that doesn't respond in 2 seconds. It's like, you know, 2 seconds. Even like this new generation, millennials and us, we don't have patience. We don't have time for, wasting in applications. And that's very important for us to work in the performance area. So here I want to bring a whole idea about how we are positioning and offering to you help in how to build, monitor, and optimize your mobile apps. So as I mentioned, this is the first webinar that's going to be just talking about performance testing and also the more focusing how to do that. But we also have information in how you can build memorable experience for your users. We are going to help you also not only to test, but capture information from the monitoring tools, monitoring solutions, and bring it to the test to focus on what's more important. And also, we can help you guys to optimize to get continuous improvement in your performance and delivering fast. Actually, the DevOps components on top of mobile performance. So we're going to be talking about all these topics in the next series. And then now, something that I want to mention about performance, why is important, again, is not just about the client performance, it's not just about back-end performance, not about network, it's about everything. So as soon as you get an application and you analyze performance, it must be a complete analysis. It's not an easy job, right? You need to identify how long it takes those large pictures to come. Maybe you need even to optimize the way that you do the application. As I mentioned before, many locations, various locations that people use their mobiles, how the performance is in the different locations. And of course, understand how also the application is going to impact the back end and how the end user is going to be impacted for the response from the back end. It's not an easy task. It's a very complex task, and it requires knowledge, requires understanding, and then that's what we're bringing to you today. Gaspar, do you want to share your comments now and talk about the challenge in testing the mobile apps? So let's go a little bit more in detail and analyze what the challenges are and how to resolve those issues. With you now, Gaspar?
Yes, Silvia, thank you very much. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. I'm Gaspare Marino, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager for HP Performance Engineering Solution. And today we will talk about mobile performance testing. So, mobile application performance testing is not the same as traditional performance testing. Mobile is a whole new game, and the testing requirements for attributes are much steeper due to the unpredictability. So, let's go over about the challenges in mobile performance testing. The first one is diversity in platform, operating system, and devices. Fragmentation is probably the scariest impediment to validating the end-user experience. There are practically infinite permutations that impose such a huge challenge to testers. Manufacturer, operating system, version, carrier, physical attributes, display dimensions, resolution, sensor, built-in technology. The most popular mobile OS, the Android, is the most fragmented. OpenSignal, a company that specializes in wireless coverage mapping, detected more than 24,000 distinct Android devices. User choices, settings, and usage patterns can also affect the behavior of other apps, even if they are seemingly unrelated. The second one is related to automation challenges. Test automation has been referred as essential for coping with the speed of agile development projects. There are tens of choices of test automation for mobile apps, including tools provided with the software development kits, open source, and commercial products. Some of these tools evolved from desktop or web test automation, while others have been developed specifically to test mobile apps. Some current test automation software have limitations in the ways they interface with the device and the app. For instance, most approaches only interact with the graphical user interface. But sophisticated user experiences involve touch, gestures, GPS location, audio, sensors such as accelerometers, and physical actions such as replicate a shake gesture. Such interactions can be fully scripted or simulated and maybe involve manual testing or real device. You know, modern enterprise applications have reached an historic level of complexity. Today, applications are a composite of distributed components, often running in a virtualized or cloud server infrastructure. The rise and predominance of mobile apps have taken control of the network out of the hands of IT development and testers. The distributed nature of composite applications and the dynamic conditions of mobile, cloud, and also broadband networks must be effectively incorporated into the test environment. Otherwise, your tests do not reflect real-world results. Depending on the device and operating system, mobile applications may behave differently, depending on the type of carrier network infrastructure or technology, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi. Cellular networks are non-deterministic and exhibit wide variations in bandwidth and latency. Users in different locations accessing different operators can experience vastly different application performance. Let's consider this now. Servers that interact with a mobile app also need comprehensive performance testing. The testing may include a mix of mobile apps on real devices, mobile apps on virtual devices, and simulated network traffic from load generators. The location of requests and their network connection, as mentioned earlier, may be important factors to consider in the test plan. When presented with material load, servers begin to perform in a way that may impact the user experience. For instance, packets sent to the mobile device may be delayed, lost, desequenced, and so on. The server load test measures the mobile end user experience on a real device while applying load on the server farm. The measurements on real devices are done simply by running recurring tests on real devices repeatedly throughout the test session and measuring the KPIs users care about. You can make the synthetic traffic load mobile relevant by converting the network traffic sniffer pickup file into a load script. You know, mobile is at the leading edge of new technologies, such as HTML5, that are not yet well understood in terms of testing. Mobile devices and applications are becoming more sophisticated, using techniques such as context, 3D graphic, and gaming. Greater sophistication implies more complex testing. Some question to ask yourself: is the technology to be built new to my company? Do requirements demand the use of new analysis, design, or testing methods? Do requirements put excessive performance constraints on the product? You know, technical risk generally led to failure of functionality and performance. Causes of technical risks are continuous changing requirements, no advanced technology available, or the existing technology is in the initial stage. Product is complex to implement. The last one is about performance variations. There is a performance difference of greater than 1 order of magnitude across devices in the smartphone install base. An app or HTML5 website that runs well on a top-end device may not be acceptable on a low-performance handset. So on the client side, we need to address the usual discrepancy of application behavior on various platforms and handsets, memory and CPU consumption, loading speed, and battery issues. Now let's talk about the apps that run directly on the device. You can realize them as native, web-based, or hybrid. A native app is programmed in a platform-specific language with platform-specific APIs. It is typically purchased, downloaded, and upgraded through the platform-specific central app store. Native apps usually offer the best performance, the deepest integration, and the best overall user experience compared to other options. However, native development is often also the most complex development option. Our web is based on HTML5, JavaScript, and CSS, and does not rely on any app store. It is a locally stored mobile site that tries to emulate the look and feel of an app. A famous example of a web app is the Financial Times app, which left the App Store in order to keep all subscriber revenue to themselves for the web world. Conversely, the web-based Facebook iOS app was revamped into native app in order to dramatically improve its performance and usability. A hybrid approach to app development has become quite common in recent times. An app can use native code for enhanced performance and integration of the app with the platform, while using a web view together with HTML5-based content for other parts of the app. Parts of the resulting app behave like a native app, while other parts are powered by web technologies. The web-based part can use internet connectivity to offer up-to-date content. While this could be viewed as a drawback, the use of web technologies enables developers to revise content and features without the need to submit updates to app stores. The key challenge is to combine the unique capabilities of native and web technologies to create a truly user-friendly and attractive app. I would like to make some additional observation on this. Mobile web is the first point of contact most consumers will have with a company, but repeated engagement will often happen with an app. Consider your bank. You will connect to their mobile website to test out their services, but will quickly convert to using a native app. The goal of mobile web optimization is to present content as fast as possible. The benefit of keeping files small is twofold. The first advantage is faster download times. The second is screen rendering. An app, instead, whether hybrid or native, will perform differently from a website. A website requires a browser, internet connection, and a web address. An app does not. Once on a phone, an app can work offline, receive notifications, run processes in the background, and interact more closely with the mobile operating system. It's the deeper connection to the operating system that now gives mobile developers opportunities to improve user perception of mobile performance. The bottom line is that both the web and app experiences are important, and you will need to support the performance of both. Real devices are more realistic than virtual devices, particularly in terms of testing your apps, as they faithfully reflect the devices users use. There have been conflicting opinions on the value of using virtual devices for testing. However, we have discovered that there are more virtues than many suppose, and they are a useful complement to testing using actual devices. I would like to clarify some words that get confused: emulators, simulators, and virtual devices. Emulators include the same operating system as the devices they emulate. Simulators look similar to real devices, but do not run the same version of the app. Instead, the app is compiled specifically to run in the simulator. Both are types of virtual devices. For example, Android uses emulators to emulate either the ARM-based version of Android or Intel-based version of Android. iOS uses simulators. To run an iOS app on the computer, the source code is compiled specifically to run in the simulator. That build of the app cannot run on real devices. So emulators are most useful early in the development lifecycle, when used by developers to quickly iterate on developing a new app or new features. They provide fast feedback, and most integrated development environments have integrated support for emulators. We're loading the app to an emulator as soon as the app has been compiled. During the quality assurance and testing, real devices become much more relevant in order to see how well the app behaves on a variety of representative hardware. Emulators can still be useful for some aspect of QA, but are unlikely to be used for the majority of the testing. Now, in the next section, I'll give you an overview on how to implement an effective mobile performance testing using HPE LoadRunner. The Vugen Virtual User Generator mobile protocols expand LoadRunner's capabilities of recording user activity from mobile applications, both native and browser-based, and also hybrid. With this solution, you can simulate the users working on mobile devices, and create scripts based on the recording of mobile devices or emulators. You can record the user activity on a mobile device and generate scripts in Vugen using one of the following protocols. The first one is Mobile Application HTTP HTML protocol. It's a protocol enabling you to develop scripts using mobile devices or device emulators communicating with servers over HTTP. You can record the network traffic into a capture file, a pickup file, and create a Vugen script. Additionally, you can use a mobile emulator on your Vugen machine to develop your script. The client application can be either a browser-based or a native application. The second one is a TruClient mobile web. It's a protocol enabling you to record the user activity in browser-based mobile applications using TruClient technology. The TruClient browser is modified to emulate the display of your mobile browser. Client application is a browser-based mobile version of a website. The last one is the TruClient native mobile protocol. It's a protocol enabling you to record user activity in native and hybrid mobile application using TruClient technology. They replace performance on real devices, allowing you to obtain client-side measurement and test end-to-end performance. So this is very important. This method requires the installation of HPE Mobile Center solution. The client application is native or hybrid mobile application. Now let's analyze the first protocol, mobile application HTTP HTML. The recording wizard can help us in choosing the best recording method for our script. We have 4 different options. The first one is record and analyze traffic. This method is used to create and analyze a capture file either on a remote server or on your localhost computer. After the connection is configured using a recording wizard, you can record business transactions from your mobile device to a capture file. And then you can analyze the traffic of the capture file and generate a script. The second option is create a script with a capture file. You can analyze a capture file that was previously created with either an external capture file utility such as Wireshark or Vusion's mobile sniffer agent. The recording wizard analyze traffic option enables you to point to the capture file, specify the source or destination IP address to include, and generate the script. The third option is create a script using an emulator. For many mobile devices, there are third-party emulators that you can install on your computer. Once installed, you can use the emulate record method to record and generate a script. The last option is create a script using the LoadRunner proxy. The Vusion machine acts as a proxy server, capturing all the traffic from the mobile device to the target server. After the business process has been recorded, Vusion creates a script. So option number 1, recording application traffic to a capture file is effective when you are unable to record an application using Vusion, as in the case with mobile applications. A capture file is a trace file containing a log of all TCP traffic over the network. Using a sniffer application, you obtain a dump of all the network traffic. The sniffer captures all of the events on the network and saves them to a capture file. To generate a smaller, more manageable script, try to capture the network traffic only for the time that you perform actions in your application. This flowchart illustrates the workflow for the recording of traffic with LoadRunner's mobile sniffer agent. You can record the traffic using your localhost or a remote server. If you want to record using a localhost, you must first configure your machine as a hotspot using a Wi-Fi connection. If you want instant record traffic on a remote server, you first must manually install the mobile sniffer agent on your server by copying the relevant folder from the LoadRunner installation directory, mobile remote agent folder, to a location of your choice on your server. Now, here we have to set some options related to the Vusion communication with the recording agent. So you have to set up the connection between Vusion and the agent with the URL and the port. Select the network interface to be recorded, because in some cases you can have more than one network interface card, and then use the start and stop button just to start and stop the recording of the tapping activities. The second option is analyze traffic. When using the analyze traffic method, you need to specify a capture file containing client-server traffic. Vusion supports capture files with cap, pcap, lrcap, R extensions. When creating a script to traffic analysis, you will need to specify the IP to analyze. The recording wizard provides 2 methods to specify which IP addresses traffic to include in the script. Traffic is identified either from the server side or from the client side. You will need to specify which IP address traffic and either the client or server side to include in the script. Here we can select the pcap file, as you can see, and then set the filter options. In fact, as you know, you can configure multiple IP addresses on one server. For example, you may be running an SMTP, an FTP, and a web server all on the same computer with unique IP addresses. When the sniffer agent creates the capture file, it will include all events to all the services on the server. However, by configuring server-side traffic, you can specify the IP address and port where your application under test resides. This method is very useful when you are certain that only one client is communicating with the server. On the other side, you can also identify the client that has been communicating with the server as the IP address to analyze. This way, only the events from the client's IP address will be included in the script Vugen will generate. You can also specify additional IP addresses to either include or exclude during code generation or recording options. Third option is recording with emulator. Testing mobile applications with an emulator is a solid solution, as previously mentioned, for many mobile devices. You can install a third-party emulation application on your local computer and record events with the record emulator method from the recording wizard. The record emulator method requires 3 settings in order to start the emulator. You have to define the emulator to record at the location of the emulator application executable file, the command line, and the arguments that the emulator application requires to run the emulator, and the working directory, the location in which the emulator application should store file. You can record against Android, BlackBerry, or Windows emulators. Last option is proxy recording. In fact, Vugen allows you to record the scripts using a LoadRunner proxy to resolve situations where you cannot install Vugen on the client machine. This may be the case with certain Linux machines, Mac operating system machines, and mobile devices. When using this option, the Vugen machine acts as a proxy server capturing all the traffic from the client machine to the target server. After the business process has been recorded, Vugen creates a script. I would like to add some consideration for recording via proxy. The first one is that the client must allow proxy configurations, meaning you must be able to specify the port and the address of the Vugen machine on the client device or machine. The second one is that the client device or machine and the Vugen machine must be in the same network. And the last one is that because Vugen is unable to bypass the browser's cache and history settings on the client machine, the client machine's browsing history must be deleted prior to recording the business process. This enables Vugen to accurately record your business process via proxy. Let's talk now about the second LoadRunner protocol, the TruClient Mobile Web Protocol. This protocol is based on LoadRunner's TruClient technology and enables you to test web applications designed for mobile devices. With this protocol, you can simulate various mobile browsers and develop scripts that are recorded on the user level, making them clear and easily maintained. The TruClient Mobile Web Device Manager is delivered with the settings for many popular mobile devices. However, you can easily add a custom device. The screenshot on the left is the mobile settings dialog box that enables you to select the mobile device under test. If you added a new device, it will appear at the end of the drop-down list. The user agent is the header string that is sent to server to identify your mobile device. Once you have selected a device, the default header value will appear, but however, this header string can be modified. The last setting is the display sides that specify the width and height of your mobile device screen. TruClient Mobile Web will open a browser window according to the display settings, as you can see on the screenshot on the right. The last protocol is the TruClient Native Mobile, and as mentioned previously, it requires HPE Mobile Center solution. So let's take a look to HPE Mobile Center. HPE Mobile Center is a robust and scalable enterprise on-premises solution that helps you take control of your mobile reality. Built on HPE significant QA expertise, it works natively with ALM, OIT Center, Sprinter, UFT, LoadRunner, Performance Center, so you can connect your mobile devices to Mobile Center and get started immediately. HPE Mobile Center is a standalone server that provides mobile device access to different test applications and supports a distributed architecture where different test clients can all interact with the same Mobile Center server instance. The HPE Mobile Center architecture consists of the following components. First of all, the Mobile Center server that is a single web server. Then the database server that is by default run on the Mobile Center server itself with a PostgreSQL database. the connector that manages the physical USB connection to the device and the logical state machine on top of it. When you install HPE Mobile Center, both the server and the connector are installed, but it can also be installed as a standalone component on multiple machines in distributed locations or on a testing engineer's desktop. And last but not the least, obviously the test device is connected to the Mobile Center server. So this is the Mobile Center architecture. How it works. HPE Mobile Center solves the mobile performance testing problem by providing insight into how an application will perform under a geographically dispersed load. By extending HPE LoadRunner capabilities, Mobile Center makes it easy to record the test scripts directly from your mobile device or from your test station and exercise on real devices. As a result, you can design, develop, and execute performance load tests, identify bottlenecks, determine system capacities, and measure the real user experience earlier and more often in the development test cycle. You can record and run single user performance tests for mobile apps on real mobile devices hosted by Mobile Center. This is achieved using HPE TruClient technology, provided with the LoadRunner, StormRunner Load, and Performance Center. TruClient functionality is available using the standalone TruClient application or using TruClient in Vusion. Now I want to talk about how the impact on network condition, which is the impact on network condition on the performance of mobile devices. Mobile apps are subject to many network-driven variables such as latency, limited bandwidth, and packet loss. These need to be taken into account when testing an app and validating the end-user experience. The global mobile network, as mentioned before, is a communication channel that is in a continuous state of flow with dynamic conditions dictated on a moment-by-moment basis according to carrier, connection type, connection strength, time of day, location, and myriad other factors. In the absence of real-world conditions, testing will yield unreliable results as the effect of the network on the end-user experience. So, because over 70% of the performance of a mobile app is dependent on the network, organizations must consider the effect of the mobile network on the end-user experience before an app is deployed. With HPE network virtualization capabilities, testers incorporate network factors into a lab environment and design tests with various network conditions, such as high latency or those of a mobile user over 3G with a specific carrier. These impairments are applied to the network connections between the application and virtual users, creating a virtual network topology that emulates the production network. Performance analysis of the transactions with these impairments identifies which components of the application and infrastructure are sensitive to network factors. The development team can then optimize the application performance and determine the best deployment configuration. This approach enables the testing of an entire business process using varied performance characteristics such as peak load with high network latency or a mixed scenario with both mobile and landline users. The robust analytic abilities in network virtualization provide deep dive root cause analysis of performance bottlenecks, a mobile performance scorecard, and automated optimization recommendations that have been proven to improve mobile app performance by more than 40%. Okay, now it's time to demo, and I will show you how to test the web applications designed for mobile devices using TruClient Mobile Web Protocol, and then how to create a script using a packet capture file with the mobile application HTML HTTP protocol. Okay, and can you see my screen, the virtual machine?
Yep, we see your desktop right now.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so let's analyze the TruClient Mobile Web Protocol. Let's start Vusion 12.50. As mentioned before, the TruClient Mobile Web Protocol is based on LoadRunner's TruClient technology and enables you to test web applications designed specifically for mobile devices. With this protocol, you can simulate various mobile browsers and develop scripts that are recorded on the user level making them clear and easily maintained. Let's see how. So I want to create a new script. I'm going to select TruClient Mobile Web. Those are the mobile protocols. Click on Create. Okay, now I want to develop the script. Click on Develop Script. After clicking on Develop Script, the Mobile Settings dialog box appears. It enables you to select the mobile device under test. If you added a new device, it will appear at the end of the drop-down list. But in this case, I want to select a device that is already here. I want to select the iPhone 5S. As you can see, the user agent and display options are automatically selected according to the previous selection. Okay, let's click OK. Let's now start our development with TruClient. For those who are not familiar with the topic, TruClient is a tool for recording web-based applications. The TruClient engine records your actions as you navigate through the business process. It creates a script in real time, allowing you to see the steps as they are performed in the sidebar. So let's perform a navigation on HPE software. Okay, this is the website. Let's start the recording. Go. Okay, as you can see, the window is emulating sides of iPhone 5S with 8 display. So now I want to learn more about StormRunner load. As you can see, for every interaction that I'm doing on interface, TruClient is recording a step that is related to the action, the interaction between the user and the user interface. So I want to go there, I want to learn more about, so it's easy and simple. I want to click on this, intelligent and predictive analytics. I want to learn more about this. Click on Scalable and Global because I can scale with the StormRunner load from 1 to over 1 million virtual users. I want to click here, just read, click there. So I'm performing a complex interaction navigation and just click there. Okay, now I want to read more about StormRunner load. I want to see some screenshots and so on. Okay, StormRunner 1.9 is just released. I want to learn. A new tab is opening. I'm gonna read about what's new on StormRunner 1.9, the results, the protocols, the tools, and so on. So please, in the meanwhile, I'm recording the interaction with a lot of steps. Okay, now I'm closing the tab, and as you can see, also the closing of the tab is recorded as a step, because now I want to continue on the main page. I want to click on free trial because I want to try to use StormRunner load. Click on try now. I'm clicking on free trial. Okay, so now I will stop. You don't need to use any credit card, and with the free trial, what's included 10 test runs, access to HPE software community, and so on. Now I'm done, and click on stop. Okay, so I have performed a very complex navigation through StormRunner load user site. And now I want to enhance the script. This is my script. There is no code. There are only the steps that I have performed. I want to enhance my script, just adding some weight for emulating the think time of a real user behavior, because a real user is waiting just between one click and the second, and the second click is reading the page, and so on. So let me add some weight just to emulate this. And now I want to insert some, I want to trace some response time. So for example, I want to trace response time about the loading of the home page. So select this, double click, select surround with transaction. So the first transaction, transaction 01, will be home page. And for example, I want also to trace the click on the free trial link. So transaction 02 will be free trial. Sorry. Okay, now I'm done, and I want to try to reply this. This is a very fast enhancement, but I hope that it will work. So let's try to reply the script. Okay, as you can see, now we are tracing the response time about the home page. The wait 3 seconds is emulating the think time related to a real user. I want to wait, click on this. I'm clicking on, I have performed a lot of actions on the user interface. Click on this. I open the second tab. I'm reading the page. I'm closing the tab. Now I want to trace the free trial link response time. And so on. So we are emulating a virtual user that is performing navigation on the StormRunner load website, emulating the screen, the display of the iPhone 5S. Okay, it's done, the replay succeeded. So in 5 minutes we have recorded a script emulating the interaction with the iPhone 5S, and we can put this on a LoadRunner scenario and execute the test. So let's switch, I want to switch to the second protocol, the mobile HTTP HTML protocol. Okay. Now I'm selecting mobile application HTTP HTML protocol. I want to create a script. Okay, now I'm clicking on record button, and there is the recording wizard as previous mentioned. In this case, we want to analyze traffic because we have previously recorded a navigation using we have sniffed the packets related to the navigation from the browser to the server using, for example, Wireshark. Wireshark, for example, is a free open source network packet analyzer. And now I'm going to import a pickup file that I previously created using Wireshark. And the recording wizard, let's click on next. As you can see, the recording wizard provides 2 methods to specify IP address traffic to include in the script. Traffic is identified either from the server side or from the client side. You will need to specify which IP address traffic and either the client or server side to include in the script. The default option is to use the client side filter. This is the IP address of my client. It's okay. Now I want to select the pickup file that I have previously created. Is a pickup with the pickup extension. Okay, click open. Let's click on finish. Vuegen is creating a script using the packets sniffed during the recording using Wireshark. I have previously performed a sniffed, so packets related on a very simple flow on StormRunner and help page. Please keep in mind, okay, let's close the Design Studio. So this is the script. As you can see, we have tons of cookies and the web calls, the cookies related to StormHelp, stas.hp.com, and other cookies. And also we have 3 calls related to the navigation. So because during browsing I loaded the define load test HTML page, the dashboard page, and the on-premise load generator page. So please keep in mind that my script will only contain only the interaction between the client, browser, and the server, not the interaction at the graphical user interface level, as previously showed using TruClient Web Mobile. Here's the point. You create a script simply importing a flow saved on a packet capture file. Very simple script, but you need to work hard. Obviously, it's a typical web HTTP HTML script. So as usual, you need to work hard with the correlation, with cookies, and so on. And I want to underline that the point is you create a simple script importing a flow saved on a packet capture file, a pickup file. Okay, I'm done. And now thank you so much for your attention. I would like to remember that this is the first of a series of webinars related to mobile performance testing. In the next webinar, as mentioned by Silvia, we'll deep dive on mobile center, network utilization, storm runner load. And now I leave you in the hands of Chris. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gaspare. I'd like to take a moment, Gaspar, to go over some of the questions that folks were asking during your demo, if you could answer a couple of them. So let's pick a couple of them out. These are in no particular order. It was noticed when you were doing the TruClient mobile protocol that it was using a Firefox browser. Can you also use the IE browser for the working with TruClient?
For the TruClient mobile protocol, in general, we can use Chromium and Internet Explorer, but for the TruClient mobile web, we can use only Firefox.
Okay. Next question is, it was noted when you were doing the wait step that you were setting a fixed number. Is there any way to set a dynamic number for the amount of time someone should wait?
Yeah, obviously you can modify that number, or for example, you can implement a very simple JavaScript function that is creating a random number, for example. There are a lot of ways to do this. You can absolutely do a random number or a dynamic changing number for the wait time.
Okay, great. And I think there was a second question about that, asking if you could wait for an event. It sounds like by using JavaScript you could wait for a particular event as well.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Can you repeat?
So, for example, waiting for something specific to render on a page before you perform an action.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You can do this. For example, you can wait for an object on a page and then perform the next section. So you can wait for a fixed amount of time, or for an object appearing on the screen, and so on. So obviously you can do this. Yeah.
Okay, great. When you were talking about emulators, can you use any emulator? And a particular emulator was asked about a BlueStack emulator.
BlueStack. I don't know at this moment. I know that, for example, for Android, we use Genymotion Android SDK, but I don't know about this. We can perform additional. I can try to understand better and eventually post in the Revit page an answer to this.
Okay, and I think something that could extend on that is if you use the standard developer kit that comes with Android for emulation, would you expect that to work?
Yeah, you can use the standard Android SDK or also the Genymotion. Also, Genymotion is supported, and also the third part, but the most common use is Android SDK or Genymotion for the Android emulators.
Great. I'm just going through some more questions here. I think we'll only have time for about 2 or 3 more. Can you explain again about where Mobile Center is required and where it is not?
Okay, and let me go to the previous. Sorry. Okay. Just one moment. Okay, you need Mobile Center for the third protocol, the TruClient native mobile. You can record against a native or hybrid mobile application but you need mobile center for this. And you can use the mobile application HTTP, HTML, or the TruClient mobile web without mobile center. You need only LoadRunner or Performance Center to do this, to use this protocol.
That's great. So in the example you were showing us, you'd be able to use just the TruClient protocol for LoadRunner, and there's no mobile center required because you're just doing the web.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. I was used during my demonstration. I selected first the TruClient mobile web protocol, and then the mobile application HTTP HTML protocol. Maybe the TruClient Native Mobile will be covered in the next webinars, talking about mobile center.
Great, and let's take about 2 more questions here. I think this is a simple one. Is there a difference with TruClient mobile versus TruClient other than setting the size of the screen and the user agent?
Sorry, and the difference about? I don't understand.
So the TruClient mobile that you were showing, is it just adding the capability of changing the screen size and possibly setting a user agent? Is that basically what it does?
Yeah, you can do this. So when you select a mobile device, the user agent and the display settings are selected according to the device that you selected. But if you want, you can modify this.
Great. There have been some questions about diagnostics, and I believe that's been mentioned that is a potential for a future series. I just wanted to make a note of that for folks. And the last one I think we'll handle is if you could just, and it's perfect for having this slide up, describe in yours the difference between TruClient and the HTTP HTML protocol.
Okay, good question. The difference is that with TruClient mobile web, we are recording the user interaction at the graphical user interface. So we are recording also, for example, the JavaScript execution on the menu of the page and so on. With the mobile application HTTP HTML, we are working at a lower level. So we are recording only the communication between the client, the browser in this case, and the server. So we cannot record the interaction with the user interface, for example, the JavaScript, but we are only recording the packets, the network communication, let me say, between the client and the server.
Excellent, thank you. What do you feel, Gaspar? Do we have time for just one more?
Yeah, if you want, we can have time for another one, I think.
Okay. Here sounds like an interesting question. I'm not sure there's an exact answer. What monitoring tools can be used to detect or identify areas where tuning may be necessary?
For monitoring, in mobile testing, mobile performance, we talk about mobile analytics, and for example, we have a Pulse Mobile that is an HPE monitoring solutions just for monitor the app and the real user experience just in production, because you are tracing all the user experience about an app that is that it was downloaded from the for example, for the Google Play and so on, and it is currently installed on your device. So the App Pulse Mobile is a very good way to monitor on the field the user experience about mobile application.
That's great. And lastly, do you have a recommendation on testing with real devices versus simulated devices for performance of?
As mentioned before, this is also a good question. As mentioned before, the emulators can be used earlier just to identify the big problems for functional and performance capabilities. But in the last stage about quality assurance and testing, you need to run against real devices. And for example, if you want to perform a real test with the real devices, you don't need hundreds of real devices to perform a mobile load testing. Basically, you have to create a scenario, LoadRunner scenario, with 2 different groups of virtual users. The first will load the backend with HTTP, HTML, or web-based scripts. And the second group will perform the same use case on real devices, just one or two, just to collect response time information at the graphical user interface level. So you don't need hundreds of real devices, obviously.
That's some great advice. Thank you very much. I think at this time we have to be done with the questions and answers. We can follow up with folks afterwards. Maybe there'll be in a blog post or some edition. Just a reminder about some upcoming performance engineering events. So tomorrow there's a webinar by the Performance Engineering SIG, Performance Engineering as a Competitive Differentiator. So for anyone that wants to check out that webinar. And then also a reminder for Discover coming up the first full week of June. Come see Sylvia or Gaspar or other performance engineering members of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise for a variety of sessions, including some Monday Vivid Deep Dives, one in which Gaspar is doing for LoadRunner and network virtualization, as well as a plethora of other roundtables and presentations that you can attend at Discover. Do we have any more slides?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. Just again as a reminder for Discover, there is a discount for members, and there's a link at the bottom, or if you just go to the Vivid Worldwide homepage in the upper left, you will see a registration reminder, and members do receive a discount. So if you're not a Vivid member today, sign up and get yourself a discount to come to Discover. I've been several times. It's a fantastic time for networking, learning more about all of the different products, whether it's upcoming products or just diving deeper into particular tasks that you may be looking to do. And again, thank you for attending the webinar. Please complete the short survey and feel free to opt in for more information from Hewlett-Packard. And a reminder that this live webinar is being recorded and will be available to you a couple days later. And thank you for attending. And the handouts, the slides, and the webinar will be available to you shortly. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.